Hey, what's up guys? Matt with the Movement System. If you're preparing for the NSCA CSCS exam, then chances are you're feeling a little overwhelmed by the huge textbook and all the information. Don't worry, I've got you covered. In this video, I'm going to do my best to tell you everything that you need to know about the CSCS exam. First, we'll cover what the CSCS exam is and who it's for. Second, we'll break down how the exam is structured, including how many questions are on each section and what chapters and topics you need to spend the most time on. Third, I'll share the best study resources that will save you hours of time and help you show up to the exam with confidence. And then fourth, I'll give you a realistic timeline based on your background and your experience level. Quick disclosure, my business, the Movement System, does provide CSCS prep material to help you prepare for the CSCS exam. That said, I'm going to do my best to share with you all the resources out there that students are using, from podcasts to the NSCA official material to AI resources and more. My goal is to compile and share what students preparing for the exam are saying and using, and then I'll leave it up to you to decide what you want to use to study. And make sure you stick around till the end, because in the last section of this video, I'll share common mistakes that cause people to fail the exam so that you can avoid those and pass on your first try. Let's go and dive into it. Okay, first let's understand the exam. CSCS stands for Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. This is the gold standard in the field of strength and conditioning. If you're planning to become a strength and conditioning coach, sports physical therapist, or a high-level personal trainer, the CSCS is a great certification to pursue. I should note though that there are certifications sort of above and below the CSCS. The NSCA CPT, or Certified Personal Trainer certification, is more of an entry-level certification for those looking to work with the general population clients. And the NSCA CPSS is the Certified Performance in Sports Science certification. This is a relatively new, high-level certification for sports science positions. This was introduced in 2021. Typically, this is pursued after the CSCS if you want to continue and work in the sports science field. If you want more info on this, let me know, but for now, we'll just focus on the CSCS. To take the CSCS exam, you need to register through the NSCA website and then schedule the exam at a testing center. There are testing centers all around the world, and you can take the test anytime. Once you register, you'll have 120 days to go schedule your exam and take it at a testing center. The exam is entirely multiple choice, and there are 3 answer choices for every question, just A, B, or C. Now you would think that that would make it easy, but the answer choices are often very challenging, requiring you to analyze questions in depth to distinguish between 2 pretty good answers. Okay, now let's cover how the exam is structured, the question breakdown, and the most important chapters. The CSCS exam is divided into 2 sections: Scientific Foundations and Practical Applied. You need to score at least 70% on each section to pass. Here's the question breakdown from the NSCA CSCS Detailed Content Outline. On the Scientific Foundations portion, there are 3 sections: Exercise Technique with 48 questions, Sports Psychology with 20 questions, and Nutrition with 12 questions. There are also 15 non-scored questions mixed in. You'll have an hour and a half to complete this section. That's roughly 1 minute per question. When you're doing practice questions and practice exams, I would recommend practicing with that timing. That said though, most students do say that they have enough time. When I polled our free CSCS study group on Facebook, for example, 51% of students said they did not feel rushed, 43% felt a little bit rushed, and only 6% felt very rushed. I'll leave a link in the description below if you do want to join our free study group, so that way you can ask questions, get updates, and see what everyone else is doing for studying. Now you'll get a break between the 2 sections of the exam. I'd recommend bringing a snack and just kind of relaxing for a few minutes in between, because it is a long exam. Then whenever you come back, you'll do the Practical Applied section. On the Practical Applied section, Exercise Technique makes up 28 questions, Program Design makes up 44 questions, Organization Administration makes up 16 questions, and Program Implementation makes up 22 questions. There are also 15 non-scored questions on this section as well. For this section, you'll have 2.5 hours to complete a total of 125 questions. So again, roughly 1 minute per question. In total, you're looking at 210 questions and a 4-hour total exam time. Now, with all that said, here's what's really important. Not all topics are equally challenging. There are several areas that students consistently report are the most challenging. So I would plan to spend the most time studying, first, exercise technique, including the details of the phases of complex lifts like Olympic lifts. Second, testing data. Specifically, you want to study the 60th percentile values. That's because according to the NSCA CSCS Detailed Content Outline, below that value indicates that it is a training priority and the athlete needs to improve that. But if the athlete's above the 60th percentile, it's not a training priority. So you're gonna have to spend time learning the data and the different tests and the types of athletes. And then third, you're gonna wanna spend time studying periodization and practicing writing programs. You're going to specifically need to be able to spot errors in program design and know how programs should progress week to week and throughout the year. These areas are so important that for the Movement System CSCS study course, we've added over 150 exercise technique videos, a 60th percentile study sheet to make that easy, and an entire program design module with example programs, putting you on the spot to see errors and then showing you where they are. You really do need to spend a lot of time mastering these concepts because they are very important on the exam. So this is a good time to move on to study material. And let's start with the most important and really the only essential study resource for the CSCS exam, and that is the textbook. The textbook for the CSCS exam is the Essentials of Strength Training and Conditioning, and this textbook gets updated about every 10 years. We're sort of in a transition period right now in 2025, 2026, where the 4th edition was released back in 2015. Since then, the exam has been updated several times. Now, on one hand, 90% of the material hasn't changed. They haven't released a new sliding filament theory, for example, but small changes have been made. For example, more current evidence suggests that the previous protein recommendations in the 4th edition book of 1.0 to 1.6 grams per kilogram body weight for endurance athletes were too low. The current guideline is now 1.4 to 1.8 grams per kilogram body weight for both strength and endurance athletes to maintain their weight. Since the exam is based both on the textbook and current research, we need to make sure that we're aware of these updates and the current guidelines. Now, there unfortunately isn't a page or a database anywhere that tracks all of the updates. What I do to try to help is just post all the updates to my study group and update our study material as new information comes out. Now, this is a good time to mention that the 5th edition of the book is being released February 16th, 2026. This will include several important updates, such as a brand new full chapter on overtraining written by Dr. Andrew Fry, the director of the Athletic and Performance Laboratory at Kansas University. I actually had the pleasure of attending his keynote lecture at the NSCA National Conference this past week and talking to him personally. I'm really looking forward to seeing his work and the work of all the other dedicated researchers and coaches in the area of overtraining getting published and pushed out to the next generation of coaches. There will be smaller updates to the 5th edition of the book as well, such as combining chapters like nutrition. And we've already seen that the exam is kind of deprioritizing nutrition with a decrease in questions with the last update, going from 16 questions now to 12 questions. That said though, 90% or more of the book will remain exactly the same from the 4th edition to the 5th edition, just like it did from the 3rd edition to the 4th edition. The fundamentals of training and especially of exercise science really don't change. And aside from the minor update on the nutrition guidelines, nothing that you're learning in the book is really wrong. Rather, the 5th edition book will simply expand on areas that have been heavily researched over the past 10 years, such as overtraining, athlete monitoring, concurrent training methods, and undulating periodization, and other topics like that. So whether you're studying from the 4th edition book or the 5th edition book, you can trust that you're learning well-supported, time-tested training principles and improving your knowledge as a coach. Now, with all that said about the textbook, I think there are other great resources to help support your learning and keep you up to date. Here are a few. First, the NSCA official practice tests. Students consistently say that these questions are worded most similarly to the exam. And this should make sense since they are written by the same writers as the actual exam. There are a few downsides though. They are quite expensive for what you get. Students consistently report that they're actually significantly more difficult than the real exam. And some people say that it's kind of hard to learn from these questions because they kind of give a vague answer rather than a full answer key explaining the question answer. Overall though, I'd say that since they're written by the same people as the exam, they're the best way to get prepared for exam style wording. Also, this is a good time to mention that if you have any experience with any of the resources that we're talking about or any additional resources, definitely let us know in the comments below and share that information so other people can learn from it. All right, second, we have Dr. Jacob Gooden's YouTube playlist. I actually just met Dr. Gooden at the NSCA conference. He's a really cool, smart, chill guy. A lot of the students in our study group have went through his video series, and I'm happy to recommend it. So definitely check that out. Third, we have the Movement System CSCS Prep Spotify playlist. And this is really great for studying in the car or on the go. I break down a bunch of topics from the book and explain them, and you can listen to them while you're driving and kind of learn on the go. A lot of people don't know about this, so I definitely wanted to share it. I'll leave a link in the description below. Fourth, we have a fairly new one, and that is AI questions. And actually, these can be good or bad. I actually use AI to help write questions for our CSCS study group, and it can really help with wording and coming up with challenging answer choices. That said, it does sometimes get things completely wrong, or sometimes it will provide multiple correct answers or answers based on previous or old outdated guidelines. That's why I always recommend to reference back to the book and check the answers that it comes up with. I've been doing this for a while, so I can kind of spot whenever it's making errors, but I do worry about students over relying on this and kind of blindly trusting it, and then not really knowing whenever it's making errors. So just be careful and make sure you're referencing back and checking your answers, so that way you don't end up in a cycle of it nicely telling you more and more wrong information. All right, fifth, I'll say Pocket Prep. This is an app for CSCS prep questions. Some say that it's a little out of date and a little bit too easy. Others, though, say that it has helped them a lot. It comes up a lot in our study group, so I figured I'd pass that along. Now, I do want to say, though, that the problem that I found with all of these study resources was that they weren't really focused on the most important topics of the exam. None of these so far have had exercise technique videos, detailed program design examples, or good testing data breakdowns. That's why, of course, my number one recommendation is still going to be the Movement System CSCS study course. And I've really built this to be the ultimate comprehensive CSCS study resource. It's organized chapter by chapter. You log in at themovementsystem.com, outside the distraction of social media, and you just go through the videos chapter by chapter. I recommend going through this simultaneously with the textbook. Watch the study course video to get the main concepts down really well, and then read the book to solidify the details. This is the most time-efficient way to study for the exam, and we continually expanded and updated this course based on feedback and new research. We keep the price really fair for everything that you get with this, so that way you can sign up anytime. I'll leave a link in the description below. Okay, we still do have two more things to cover though, study timeline and mistakes that people make. So here's my recommendation on study timeline. If you have a recent exercise science degree and coaching experience in the strength conditioning setting, then 2 to 3 months is a realistic study timeline. If you can average about 6 to 8 high quality focused study hours per week, you can get through 2 to 3 chapters per week, putting you on track to take the exam in about 2 to 3 months. Now, if you've never been in a strength conditioning weight room, I would highly recommend at least finding a place to shadow for a day. A college strength conditioning facility would be ideal. Remember, this exam is showing that you're qualified as a strength and conditioning specialist and ready to step into that weight room and train athletes. If you're not comfortable writing programs and cueing athletes, then there's a good chance that that will show in your exam score. So if you've had time off since your exercise science degree, or you don't have weight room experience, give yourself at least 3 to 6 months to study. And then lastly, if you don't have an exercise science related degree, then you're going to need to spend extra time learning the detailed concepts of exercise science in detail. Things like muscle physiology, biomechanics, endocrinology, and more. Plan to spend at least 6 to 12 months studying, and I would highly recommend using extra study resources. It takes other students 4 years of learning a lot of this through college, so it will take you time to learn that. Also, make sure that you're on track to pass your exam before 2030, because that's when the exam requirement changes, and after that date, you can't sit for the exam without an exercise science related degree. Okay, now for the last part, mistakes that students make that can lead to failing the exam. And I've seen a lot of these over the last 5 years. And the number one mistake by far is being familiar with the material but not being able to come up with it by yourself. This can happen when you read and you become familiar with the terms. However, whenever you're put on the spot to actually answer difficult questions, write programs, or explain concepts out loud to somebody, you really struggle. One simple exercise that I recommend to help with this is to look at a program example in the book, close the book, go do something for 15 minutes, make a quesadilla, do some push-ups, whatever, then come back and then write a similar program from scratch. If you were looking at a preseason basketball program, maybe write a preseason soccer program. Then compare those programs on all variables: number of exercises, exercise selection, volume, load, progressions, and other things like this. This will help you see where you struggle, for example, to choose the appropriate sets, reps, or load for a given exercise. Too many students just kind of skim over the material but don't put themselves on the spot And then whenever the exam comes and they're looking at 3 different answer choices for assigning load, they all look kind of similar. You're kind of familiar with it and it looks similar. It's hard to distinguish. The same goes for exercise technique. You have to spend time breaking down a movement and seeing where those errors are. This is why I designed our course, for example, to show you a video and then give you 3 choices and put you on the spot to recognize that error. We then show you a video with correct technique, show you the difference, and explain why. This helps you develop and refine your coaching eye. Same with program design. We'll show you a program example with an error in volume or load or exercise selection, and then put you on the spot to recognize that error. Doing that helps you go from seeing a program and being vaguely familiar with it to being able to immediately spot the error and come up with the correct answer choice. Okay, here's what I want to leave you with. If you've put in the work to master the material and truly be qualified as a strength and conditioning professional, then your exam score will reflect that. You'll even start to get that sense as you work through the material and start consistently getting questions right and feeling more confident. It's going to take time, it's going to take effort, but this is a really rewarding profession. This is a really exciting time for you. You're getting ready to enter a growing field with sports science and coaching opportunities expanding and new career options opening every day. Working with athletes is very rewarding and it is literally the best job that I can imagine. I wish you all the best with your preparation. If there's anything that I can do to help, don't hesitate to reach out and send me a message. I hope this video was helpful for you and all the best in your next steps. Catch you in the next one. Thanks.